Welcome everybody to Yapping Walter. I'm your host Walter, and today we have a guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Celeste. I am a Christian VTuber. Love talking about God whenever possible, but I also really like playing video games and hanging out with people, my friends in particular, whenever possible. So,
Short and simple. Mm, I believe I believe
maybe to
is good. It's good that if like you said you are a Christian, of course, like, and you like to talk about God and that stuff. It's good that because to some people, religion, no matter what religion you are in, is a good thing. And I know that some aka the people who are in religion, it gives them, I don't know is this the right word, but like a satisfying feeling or something similar to that they know that they can trust in God, for example, or in for Islam in freaking. I'm being rude right now because I don't remember. Allah, sorry. Allah, or like
yeah,
in general they believe in the one or in they believe in the higher power. Maybe that's the right word.
yeah. I would say that definitely, it does give me a sense of, well, not a sense of, it definitely does give me security knowing that he's watching over me. And I would say that the tenets of Christianity, when we're really following them, is very beneficial to the people around us because we're more willing to help and, let's say, be less selfish and more selfless to kind of help those around us. And so that's kind of my thing. I really like helping other people, whether it's, doing some charity or just praying for them. That's more so the focus than anything else. Don't really like getting into conflict whenever possible, even though it ends up coming anyway. But that's that's how it is, right? People who believe different things are
Yeah,
always going to be in conflict with each other. But finding
yeah, yeah,
that
and
time to talk is important and being respectful to each other, I believe.
yeah, and in today's world, it's well good to be normal, sensible people because well, if you just go to, for example, Twitter, everybody is freaking is having a meltdown for some reason because people chill. But goddamn, it's not that serious. Like some of the most of the things aren't that serious. Most, but
Yeah,
yeah, I that's a good thing to have to be
yeah.
to help other people and that stuff.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to put others before yourself, but I think that helps foster a, you know, community. It
Yeah.
helps set the building blocks in the stage for a lot of good things. And I think the more that we're able to give to others and less to ourselves, that, it also creates trust and it shows people that you're
Hmm.
sincere.
Yeah, it is basically like that in most cases, and like also like I don't understand the people who are in like if like for example I'm not I don't believe God, but I'm not like I'm gonna disrespect that because that's just dumb. It's it's not that I don't believe it. It's just like I'm not the person who will tell others that that religion or that thing that they believe in is dumb or anything, like, because that's first of all disrespect, and it doesn't help anyone. So if I can be myself, aka sensual person, that's good
Mhm.
enough for me. And if I can, I will help out friends the best of
Yeah,
my abilities.
yeah, that's honestly good. I mean, at the end of the day, uh, I think regardless if you're Christian or not, helping other people is so important in a time where, that's becoming less and less common for whatever reason.
Yeah, this is I don't know. This is a hot topic because I don't live there, but like I believe in USA. This is I'm applying this only some content creators. I know good amount of content creators that good amount of content creators to me they don't feel like themselves, that they more feel like they are an actors or something like that, that they are playing like they are saying what what sentence they want to say to that looks good in public. I'm like, the fuck, okay, that's not good. Just say just say your opinion. People are gonna get mad if it's not that deep. It's the internet. Who gives
Yeah.
it's the internet. Who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah. People. I think you should just be able, of course, without threatening someone else's life, or threatening a group of people, right?
yeah,
Like actual, like you're gonna do something. I think it's important that we, even if you disagree, and I think that this is a thing, like I know people look down at Christian or get mad at Christians because they're like, well, you guys never like listen to our opinions. It's either your way or the highway. And it's like, look, we might, I think the thing is that we disagree with you, and disagreement in their eyes, like the opposite side would be like, well, you're coming after my life, or because you disagree
mm,
with me, you want me eradicated. And that's never really the case. It's just like, yeah,
yeah,
we disagree with you. But that doesn't mean you can't say what you want. Absolutely, you can say what you want. You're a person. You're entitled to your opinion and things like that. But you
yeah,
know, we can still talk even if you disagree. If we
yeah,
disagree, depending on what it is. So it's not the
yeah.
end of the world.
Like, for example, do I agree with Celestium with everything? Absolutely no. But do I still hate her? No, because that's dumb. Why would I hate a person because of a different opinion? This is not a freaking drama show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can I can
absolutely.
I can agree to disagree, basically. Like
Yeah.
like freaking some people say that, for example, what the opinion I disagree, that Western games are dead. That I will disagree. Absolutely. Like, yeah, do we have flops? Yes, but that happened in 2010s. Between that has happened as well. But like, they are still good Western games. But some people say that Western side of gaming is dead. It's I'm like, okay, have you played any indie games? Like, bro, there are good indie games that are from
I don't think it's dead, honestly. I just think that,
triple A side
when
is different, but like
yeah,
indie games.
yeah, exactly. So like the indie side is alive.
Hmm.
But it's hard, right? Because you have all of these projects that you want to do, but you might not have the funding. And so not that it's dead, it's just harder, right? They don't have as many resources to push out a game every year.
Yep.
They might get one game and it might take 3 years to make because it might be a small
Hmm.
team, it might be one person, and unless it pops off, right, you might never hear about it, or they might never get the funding to finish it, or to,
Yeah.
not everyone's gonna be popular, right? So I don't think games are dead.
Yeah.
The landscape has definitely changed, and I think that if indies got more attention and more funding, we would probably see more awesome games, more kind of niche games come out, and people could enjoy that. But
Yeah, and also like, yeah, I know that everybody is clowning on certain company like Ubisoft, which I understand because what they are doing is shit, releasing flop and flop and flop. But at the same time, don't be a cynical person. Don't be like, I'm hating this company only because I can hate. Like, yeah, I don't like Ubisoft and their methods. Like, you're not gonna own your games. Yeah, that's completely bullshit. But like, I would rather critique a company because I'm a fan of Assassin's Creed. Call me cynical, but I love those games and still do. But Shadow was But like, I would rather say in peace. No, okay, peaceful sounds dumb, but I would rather say my opinion in a sensible way and not be like, screw you. You're like put all the swear words and kill yourself and that. No, like that doesn't
oh
help.
boy,
Like like this is why I'm sad for multiplayer games devs, because most of the comments that they get is your game is shit. Like, well, tell me how it's shit so I can fix it. Like, freaking,
yeah.
it doesn't help anybody if they say the game is shit. It's because of it's
Yeah,
shit.
constructive criticism is really important because it's like, well, if we want better games, we have to speak up about, why
Yeah.
is this game not so good? So, I think people have just gotten so used to like, yeah, I can say whatever I want because the internet is anonymous. Like there's a
Or
lot of anonymity.
yeah.
Although that's being, tested now.
Mm.
Um but yeah, I mean if you want things to be better, you got to speak up, but be like respectful because, it's either one person or a team of people behind them. They have, their feelings too, and they're not
Yeah.
perfect by any means. Sure, they have more resources, but that doesn't guarantee anything,
Yeah.
really.
And also, if you are a game director, like certain about like certain game director was that made a freaking that one game. Don't less out for your customers, because I'm not from business school, but I can even understand that trusting your customers doesn't really help. Well, like I do remember, I believe, freaking, I don't remember the freaking who it was, but like, freaking, some game director were trashing Elon Musk on Twitter, and yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you might disagree with him, but you will just be like, I'm not gonna buy that game because because some of the people or one people who made the game is trashing this and this person. It doesn't really help. It's just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna skip this. Also, one thing I will say that why some games, like why some there are little too many multiplayer games. Well, Fortnite, that's a game, and everybody wants that money that Fortnite brings. It sucks because not every goddamn game needs to be a live service.
Yeah. And yeah, everything's kind of like become a subscription
Yep.
of some sorts. And it's like really sad because, you know, at least in America, I'm not sure if you've heard the saying, but you will own nothing and be happy is becoming very real. And I don't think people really understand that. It's
Yeah,
becoming really, really real.
I heard that in some games, like from of course Mr. Ubisoft, then their famous saying, and like also the problem is with it's the higher ups, it's the CEOs and that stuff. They are the ones in AAA games that are like, yeah, let's do this and do this and do this. I'm 95% sure if the devs would choose, for example, in Assassin's Creed, that there won't be any microtransactions in inside of the game, but the higher ups said yes, so that's why they are there. So I'm happy. I'm happy seeing like Baldur's Gate 3 or French Persona, aka Expedition 33, being so good and so happy. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, being good. A good AAA studio that comes to mind, Capcom. They even raised like their salaries like 30% or something like that, because they were selling, guess what, games more. And like Capcom is a good example. They were like thinking making Resident Evil 9 a open world multiplayer game, but they were like, yeah, this is not for fans. Yeah, let's not do this. So I'm hopeful that Activision is not gonna do this, but EA, Ubisoft, this Microsoft, even though that's not gonna probably happen, but like a lot of AAA Western studios will start like listening to their customers. Like, please, also don't spend a freaking 300 or 400 million on a game. Please don't. Like, doesn't really help. For example, if you have a 100 million budget, just make 1, 2, 3, like 5 games or 6 games on maybe a 20 million budget. Like, that's it. Like,
Yeah, I definitely think quality is more important than quantity, but I know that especially like depending on the franchise, like some people it doesn't matter if it's like good or bad, they'll still buy it, like the consumer, right? And then it's like, well, maybe it's not a really good game, and they just kind of rush it at the door, maybe cheap budget, whatever, and people still
yeah,
kind of eat it up. I feel like it sets a precedent,
yep,
right? If you vote with your wallet, these companies are gonna have to adjust because they want the money. And so I think they've gotten a lot away
yeah.
with a lot of things because of consumers, but also, right, they're not good companies, so they'll do whatever they want. But I think
Yeah,
Nintendo is still pretty solid. I know we weren't talking about Nintendo, we were talking about Capcom, but
yeah,
and then the publisher, but
they do make
I would
games.
say they haven't really, yeah, they haven't really made like, I don't think they've made anything like atrocious in
Yeah.
like the last couple years. And they pay their
Um,
employees relatively well.
yep.
I mean, Pokemon is questionable, but that's like Game Freak. That's a whole mess right there. That I don't know all the specifics of, but when I started kind of digging into it and being told different things, I'm like, it isn't just Nintendo that's behind it. It's Game Freak. It's the shareholders. Like it's all of this stuff, kind of, and everybody's got conflicting things and agendas and all that. So it's like really interesting to me, not gonna lie. But I mean, they're still pretty solid compared to like
Yeah.
other publishers at least. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah, I was just going to say that Pokemon RQ, yeah, no, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, yeah, that is a piece of shit that needed to be fixed even like a year before when it got released.
Yeah.
I know, like,
Yeah.
I know that, like, I know that most Pokemon fans would want a open world single player game, but Jesus Christ, on Switch One it doesn't work. Yeah, I know. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were freaking amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, those Zelda games, man. That was the stuff right there. It kind of sucks that like Pokemon. I think if Pokemon takes a page from Zelda, they might be able to pull it off. But even with Sword and Shield, I mean, I remember that a couple years ago. It was a mess. People definitely didn't like the way that they handled the open world, and then the Pokédex is like very limited. Like, I let go of Pokemon around like Gen 4 going into Gen 5. So like I haven't been too interested in Pokemon for like a good chunk of my life.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
but knowing that, I know that was a big thing when Sword and Shield came out,
Yeah.
like, well, don't they need a bunch of Pokemon? Like, where are they? Why does this open world seem rushed? It seems empty. Were you talking about Arceus just now? Like, I think there was some problems with that too. That
Yep.
the way that the landscape was looking was like very empty and dead. And it's like we know that the people on Nintendo are very skilled and at Game Freak. Why are you guys sacrificing quality? To maybe get at each other, because I think there's three parts to Pokemon, like behind the scenes. There's Nintendo that owns a part, there's Game Freak, and I can't remember who else. But the fact that they're always conflicting with each other, I think that's affected the quality of the games, because one side is trying to play politics with the other. So it just, I don't know. I mean, I get that they're businesses and they need to make money, but I think when it comes to things like art and video games where you can tell a story very beautifully. I think they need to focus more on what the consumer really wants, and what the consumer wants is quality. They don't want a lot of the things that have been pumped out. I would say in the last 5 years, it seems very low effort. It doesn't mean that these people didn't work hard on it. I'm sure that there were decisions that they could have made that were better, but hmm.
Yeah, the third company who owns Pokemon is Creatures.
Ooh, okay. I see. I got you.
And I believe why Pokemon. I the only media that I have seen from Pokemon is, I believe it's called Pokemon 2000s, that movie. I have only seen that it has its flaws, because most Pokemon movies have their flaws because they're not perfect, but I still love that movie. Well, I never gotten into Pokemon. I was more like a Bakugan kid.
Okay.
And from outside view, it looks like Game Freak. I believe it's Game Freak more like. Game Freak is treating Pokemon kind of like Call of Duty, that they just make the games because they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they don't put hard work into that. They put, but like, just look in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that game was unoptimized as hell. Freaking hits were basically bowling balls. Freaking models were like freaking Mr. Fantastic. Like, that's not how game should look. The game should look finished. Most of the bugs should be yeeted out in the trash. And the games should be working on a potato called Nintendo Switch, and in this case Nintendo Switch 2. I'm hopeful. Like, I said this to a friend of mine. Imagine if Nintendo would have as a powerful machine like a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 whenever that comes out. The games will be looking. Also, please, for the love of God, abandon Unity. For the love of God.
Why abandon Unity? What's going on with Unity?
It's shit. It's a shit freaking engine, in my opinion. I know Unreal Engine gets a lot of hate.
Unreal Engine's really good though. They've improved a lot over the years.
Yeah, and
most games are starting to like be on Unreal Engine. I think games that weren't on it before are being like moved over to it as well.
Yeah, and the reason, like, I can say this for a developer, from a game dev eye, is because that engine is most known. A lot of people know that there's a lot of guides, a lot of like information about it, and that's the reason why a lot of games now don't make their own engine or their in-house engine, because it's easier for a new developer, a new employee to learn the engine, because it's more it's a universal. It's not universal, but it's widely known of an engine to like be like.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, technology, you know, from the time that games were made till now, there's just it's much better now. So I think having that, and I mean, I think it creates more standardization, right? When everybody's using kind of the same engine, I'm sure that there are specific. I mean, maybe depending on the specific project, you might have to make your own. But if the tools are already there and you can save some money, not having to develop a new system to kind of put your game on, I think that's pretty solid, and it gets games out the door faster that are still probably pretty solid quality. You know, you're maybe more focused on the story and the characters, and of course, you know, the coding and stuff is really important because the game should play smoothly, but it gives developers a chance to kind of focus on other important things that you know, seeing some of the games that have come out, like I don't know if it was Baldur's Gate, but the one with that blue character is like non-binary and has like the horns. I can't remember what that game is. Things like that being maybe hopefully less common in actual character development and story development that makes sense.
The one biggest problem with you Unreal Engine 5 is the freaking game sizes. Like, most Unreal Engine games are like over 100 gigabytes, and that's because the freaking game devs are like,
Eesh, that's awful.
Yeah, I know some game devs are gonna optimize their game, yes, but please, for the love of God, freaking make smaller assets or smaller textures. Like, I can tell you of probably 90 or 85 or 90% of people will not know the difference between 4K or 1080p textures. Like put them 1080p and bada boom, that's enough. Like, not every game needs to look like a Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 6.
Yeah, not every game. And I would even say like illustrated games probably do better, like on maybe maximum 2K, but you know, 1080p is pretty solid. I would say even then for less complicated games. I mean, obviously if you want a hyper realistic game, then I guess it makes sense. I don't even know how readily available 4K is to like the average consumer. I don't think most people are really there.
Yeah, probably people who play on PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X have not the majority, but like they're the biggest people who have 4K televisions or 8K, even though either console doesn't support it yet, in my knowledge. But like, if I would have a budget for X amount of budget, I would probably focus on the storytelling more, because people, if it's a single player game, people like if the story is good. It's not shit like freaking Shadows, for example. That story was shit, or Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign, that was shit. Like, and also, I hate people who say that I'm gonna hate this game because of this character or this character. No, like, don't hate the game because of the character. hate the game if the story sucks. Like Forspoken, yeah, that was shit, absolute shit.
Honestly, I have not played any of these games that you've mentioned, but I have noticed that it's like the story, like it's either rush or it goes really slow and there's no development. It feels like those are the two extremes right now. It's never like, well, I'm sure there are, but like at least in terms of like the major games and games that have been out, like the franchises have been out for a while. Now they're prioritizing getting through it faster and you don't get attached to the characters. The designs don't work. Like things just it doesn't scream what it initially did. And of course, there can always be change. Franchises change, but why not just make a whole new franchise, a whole new idea instead of going on previous IPs and ruining the good work that was already the foundation for them. Like, again, going back to Pokemon, first 4 or 5 gens were really good, but then the gens after just progressively got worse. And I'm sure you feel that way about some of the games that you've mentioned. They've been around for a long time, but now these newer titles for these games are not. They just don't live up to what the old magic of the games from before them.
Call of Duty.
That's can of worms.
Yeah, but like, I'm a fan. I'm gonna agree with a lot of people that golden era of Call of Duty was the best, and nowadays it's just because it feels ass. I said this, like I want the gameplay of older Call of Duties, but the graphics of the new, like that I would rather have that. And also like Call of Duty is like freaking $80 in here. In the USA it's $70. It's
Mamma mia.
Like
that's expensive.
Like yeah, I get why some games are like. For example, I would pay for Baldur's Gate like $200. Of course, bloody hell, I will.
Yeah,
because that game is masterpiece.
Baldur's Gate's really good, honestly. Like the graphics are really good, the story, the options are very solid.
Yeah, the game like Baldur's Gate 3 has like 17,000 endings or something like that. And of course, like not every ending is gonna be like way different, but like they have small differences. And also I've kind of funny that most people heard Baldur's Gate 3 because of the bear sex scene. It's just funny.
That's kind of sus. I don't really have like an opinion besides that's really sus. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw it like a couple months back and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this game. Like the graphics look great, the characters seem to be cool, but like these scenes, I would love to save my brain. My last brain cell's like hanging on by a thread here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny that there's a scene kind of that kind of, because it fits the D&D because it's freaking Dungeons and Dragons. And it's it's a druid. The character is druid, but still, it's okay to be there. It's funny. It's dumbass scene. And like other games, like Witcher 3, everybody play that. And hopefully, Witcher 4 is gonna be great as well because Ciri, I'm my beloved. I'm a fan of the series. Yeah. Does it sucks that Geralt is not gonna be the main guy? Yeah, but like that is the obvious thing that happens. That's the obvious thing that will happen. And also I hate people who say that series cannot be freaking Witcher. Yeah, no, but these aren't not Witcher. The games of Witcher, they don't follow the books exactly. They are different universes. And also like they are taking their time with the game. I'm hopeful it's gonna be great. And if Ciri is handled gracefully, I'm good. Like I want diverse cast. Like I want freaking blue. I want blue characters to being main characters, and I don't want to feel like you're a panda. Okay, this sounds like I'm a freaking cringe as hell of a YouTuber, but screw it. I don't want characters to be like one-dimensional freaking characters that don't have for example, personality. I want characters to feel like they're real people. It's not like
Yeah, exactly. For things not to like be forced, because I think most people can tell when things are being forced. And not only that, if it wasn't even part of the original like series ever, and now they're kind of like bringing that in there, why not just make a story that revolves more
Mm,
around this
mm,
instead of trying to change these IPs in such egregious ways? And I think that it disrespects the old fan base just because you're trying to bring in a new fan base and you think that this is what they want when they can just appreciate what it
mm.
originally was.
Yep.
Maybe it'll have a new coat of paint because there's better technology, but I think that I don't
Mm,
know, it just feels like a disrespect, like they're
yeah.
stepping on the hard work of like what the previous teams did because they won't have something in mind, like an agenda or something. And I'm talking mostly about Western games here in America.
Yeah. Yeah, but in my yeah.
Diversity isn't always a good thing, especially when it doesn't really reflect the who you're trying to reach.
Mm. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it's a good thing when it's done good. Okay,
Yeah,
that applies to basically everything. When it's done,
I was gonna say.
when it's done good, but like when it's there for being there. For example, Dragon Age Velguard doesn't exactly. First of all, in my opinion, it's not a bad game. It's not a good game. It's whatever. But like as a game, but as a Dragon Age game, it's shit. But as a game, it's okay. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. But like I hate the story in Veilguard. But I do like the gameplay.
Yeah.
But like that story was ass, and like hearing what happened behind the
What
scenes.
was like the worst thing, like what made it really bad? Because I'm not entirely sure of like what it is, so I don't know the opinion to have, honestly.
Yeah, there's a one scene that there's a one section in the game that everybody mocks. It's I'm like, remember, that's understandable. But if for if you're gonna make, for example, a political game like Fallout New Vegas is a political game, it is, or Bioshock, handle it with respect. Don't be like, I'm go. Don't rush it. Take your time with that, please, because politics is a sensible topic. And also, I hate people who are like,
Hmm.
if they are one side of this side in the they lean more towards or left or right, that they don't enjoy this side, that they don't enjoy this story because it's not my side of the political thing. I'm like, oh, I don't give a shit. Give me a good story. That's it. like
Yeah,
like
make me feel something because a lot of these games, man, they're leaving me kind of empty. I'm like, am I supposed to feel happy? Am I supposed to feel like mad? Like,
yeah.
it doesn't incite anything, and it's like, what is a moral without like really going through that journey and being incited? Like, I think
Yeah.
one game that I heard, and I don't know if you know more of it, but like the new Devil May Cry. Well, maybe actually no, that's more so the series now that they're coming
Mm,
out with.
mm,
It started to become more about like race and immigration and things like
mm,
that. And I'm not saying that these are problems that shouldn't be touched
mm.
upon, right? Because they're very real problems. But was that the initial intention of the series? Like, I think
No.
if it wasn't there at the start, and now they're making it about that, I know that we're talking about games, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
based on the games, right? And now they're ruining a franchise, and that makes me not want to play because, like, if this wasn't part of it, now it is. Like, what is going on?
And also, like I said in the earlier, don't trash the game because of a character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trash the game because of a story. That's it. Like, I know that some people, like some idiot, some dumb people, like people who are extreme by either side, are gonna hate Extinct because of a certain character. I get that. Oh, sorry, I don't get that. I don't. Like, I like, for example, like freaking in Fallout New Vegas, you can like in that game, I ended up supporting slavery. Do I support slavery in real life? Absolutely no.
No.
But that like, well, yeah, Fallout New Vegas is probably the best example in a political game. So every choice in every faction in Fallout New Vegas has their own points and their flaws. I'm like, that game is freaking 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
everybody play that. You're gonna make some shit situations, shit choices. I mean, and like Cyberpunk is another example that in Cyberpunk there are some storylines that feels quite fucked up.
Oh boy.
And they are like they are handling like freaking certain like aspects of real life carefully, which I'm happy. And
Yeah, exactly. We need more of that.
like
For sure.
yeah, and I know that not everybody likes FPS games, for example, but still, play Cyberpunk. It's freaking. I know it got trashed out because the game was ass in the launch, but it's a masterpiece now because they fixed it. Rest in peace. I believe like 70-80 million that it was freaking needed to be fixed in that game, but still, it's a good game.
I mean, hey man, if a company does that, I think it definitely shows their love and dedication, and that's like something that's being lost gradually over time because they're prioritizing like profits. But when a company really sits down and listens, and I'm gonna bring up, I don't know, did you ever watch the Sonic movies, like the more recent ones?
Yeah, I watched them. I know
Yeah,
that.
like I remember when the first one, like Sonic, the way that he looked, right? The puppet
Yeah,
that they were using, awful. But they listened and they fixed it. And now they've had 3 movies total, and they when companies listen to the community and they make these changes, I mean, sure, they probably are annoyed, but it still shows, at least to some degree, that they still care. And I think that's what people want as well, is that these
yeah,
developers and these people making these shows, that they just care.
yeah.
Because we're paying all this money, and not only that, now a lot of these games, right, you're buying a license, you don't even own them, so it's like, man, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I get. I like that. That's a good thing when a company, for example, like the Paramount, when the Sonic trailer, Sonic 1 trailer was coming out, and that design was horrifying as they listened to feedback luckily, and they fixed it, and now it looks basically straight ripped out from the game from the games. One thing that I would rather see was Robert Craig Smith as the voice of the Sonic, because well, he voices Sonic in the game, so I would rather see that. But the actor who voices Sonic does good enough job, so I'm not complaining about that. But like when a company or a studio doesn't listen to feedback, aka Naughty Dog, you're I do understand that some people love Last of Us Part 2 and some people hate it. I'm just like, that this could have been so much better if the freaking writers would change few things. And I hope that more writers and more developers listen like feedback, because that just will help you out. Listen, play test people who play their games and that stuff. And also, like, I hate this term because it's ass and it's cringe, but for people who say that this is anti-woke or woke, because that term is, in my opinion, shit. Because everybody has a different meaning of that word.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, there are things that I think should be standard, and like calling a game, poor quality. The story, doesn't make sense, because we just need to go back to the basics of like writing and character design.
Yep.
Does this character look like they fit in this world? Of course, if they're part of it, now they could be like an extraterrestrial being coming into the world. Like, but it should still be like, even if they're not from that particular world and they're just coming in, but that they're part
Yep.
of the game, that they make part of the story. And then the writing, right?
Yeah.
Tying loose ends, setting characters like, they're flat characters or dynamic characters that change throughout the series, but it needs to make sense based on their decisions. And so, I don't know, it's become like a lot like random, just throw anything and hope that it sticks, instead of it being like a concise story. And I mean, one storyline that everyone loves, or most people love, is the hero's journey, right? Our hero starts out a certain way, they have to go through something that's like almost pretty much life threatening, and they
Yeah.
change, hopefully for the better. I mean, it's also interesting when they don't change for the better, and maybe they become a villain of some sorts. But that it just makes sense that these steps make sense. It isn't random, because some people can tell once you break that immersion, that's it. You kind of like lost the viewer completely at that point, and whew,
Mm.
man,
Yeah, and
wild stuff.
yeah, in like for example, of a person, a character who has basically a flat line arc is Geralt. He doesn't change up because, well, if you know the lore, there's a reason why he doesn't change his personality, or because, well, there's an explanation in the lore. But thanks, like a player basically goes a arc in Witcher 3 because there's different choices you can make and that stuff, and not every choice, but like most of the choices are meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll learn more. Like I even freaking like even got some like I thought myself, would I do this? Would I choose this or this or that or that? And Jesus Christ, I did that. Like that's just tells me that the game is good when choices are like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, holy hell.
Oh man.
Also, I every goddamn Christian VTuber or streamer, please add a sound channel point sound alert where you take from Call of Duty Modern Warfare to the new one where Soap says Steam in Jesus.
What? Hey yo.
Yeah, there's a line in Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, 2022, where Soap, one of the characters, says Steam in Jesus with a Scottish accent. It's freaking hilarious. It's freaking hilarious for how he says that. It's basically like fuck's sake, but it just looks dumb. It sounds dumb. I don't blame.
I don't know, man. That sounds kind of blasphemous, low key. Me personally, maybe not.
It's a dumbass voice line, in my opinion.
I know. It sounds kind of special.
And it's a dumb way. Like, and also people who are into religion like Christianity, please don't be angry if somebody is in some media the church is villainized. Don't be angry at that, because
I would say that it depends, because I would say like, yeah, this is my views. Like, people can do whatever they want, but just because you can do what you want doesn't mean you're free like from criticism. And so I think it's
yeah.
valid like when you're. But I get it. There are some evil churches out there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie with you. It kind of seems like overall nowadays that like Christianity is painted in this really bad light. And I'm not saying that there are like all Christians should be this holier than thou, like we're better than you guys, because that's not true, right? We're people who make mistakes. There are people who claim to be Christian and don't live it out at all. But it just kind of seems the overall sentiment is to kind of make fun of God and like Christianity as a whole. So it's like you get fatigued after a while of seeing that. It's like, man, there has to be some game or something, some media that depicts, the more good side of it. Because I would say most of it is good, but then, just like other communities, there might be those
yeah.
minorities that are really loud, and so they make everybody else look bad. And it's like, man.
Yeah, and like the point that I was making, like for example, Castlevania, the anime, quote unquote, even though it's not made in Japan, but the Netflix series. The church in that is the kind of like the enemy. Of course, Dracula and vampires are that, but like they do some bad stuff, and it's handled well. If they like villainizing, quote unquote, or making, or the bad guys are like religion based, if it's handled well, or it's written well, and it just makes them and it fits the story. It's, for me, it's okay. But I do get that people will criticize that, and if it should, then it should be. Like, I meant that is if somebody attacks like people who are like don't believe in God or religion, and they are that story is basically villainizing them. I'm like, okay, I don't give a shit. It's if it's done well, I mean.
Yeah.
Because
If it's done well, that's not a problem. And I mean,
if it's done
at
bad,
the end of the day, can you really stop people from doing whatever, you know?
If it's done bad and it's meant to hurt that community of X, not good. And also like people like if it's what's a good example of when freaking Christianity went to, I believe, into Arab world, like when they went to crusade and like sharing the freaking world, like the freaking Christianity as a religion into other countries, and they fought back. Yeah, if they are making a movie about that, I would say then like make the movie maybe as historical as accurate possible, because that way it's like everybody probably agrees with this, that a religion has been a reason of war, like basically the whole humanity existence. So there's always be people who hate this or that, and that it's dumb. Just handle in stories religion well. Don't be an asshole towards that. If you're gonna make a church a bad guy, for example, or a character who is part of a religion, handle it well. Don't be
exactly.
don't write it the character to be an asshole because of no reason.
I mean, I think it's, I think it's fine to depict the not so good parts, because not everything is gonna be good, but I don't think it should be the only thing. Like, if there can be a balance between showing, like, let's say someone who's actually good kind of counteracts that bad, then that's fair. But it just seems like it's mostly negative nowadays, which I don't know. I mean, I have no control over what goes on in those studios, but it feels kind of borderline insulting, not gonna lie. But yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
And there are a lot of like good example of good stories where the church is a good guy, and then there are the bad guys, and I love that Christianity in some stories are like not exactly as a religion, but like in some animes, for example, X character or X like myth is like a freaking basically a god that everybody's like, that is the higher power. I love that, and that's a good use. If the writer or the freaking manga writer or artist doesn't want to put a religion into the freaking story, make it that way to make it good. And like I know that some people say anime, they don't like anime and that's stuff, but like there are good examples in anime that make the church to be good. And I believe Christianity is rising in Japan. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on that.
Specifically, Catholicism. I know that. I forgot if it was this year or the year before. I think it was this year. When they held their Jubilee event, Luce was the little mascot that they had. And so Christianity is not like really like fully accepted there. There are definitely like a lot of underground churches. So I'm surprised you even got to pull that off. Japan is trying its best to conserve its culture, and they're like, I think they're like Buddhists, or they have Shintoism and stuff. So like Christianity is not very popular, at least out in the open. But I'm honestly really glad that more and more people are coming to Christianity, and that they did something unique. They used a little anime character to help represent them there. So I'm not Catholic personally, but I can definitely appreciate the effort, and I love anime. I know that there are a lot of more adult Christians who are like, anime is this, that, and all the bad things underneath the sun. But I think that, if you did what the Vatican did and kind of taking your own hands, I mean, you can make something interesting, but that's a whole other kind of can of worms, honestly.
And for me, I'm always gonna watch like with open mind animes, like Attack on Titan is a good example that I've watched. Like that's probably my favorite, or Apothecary Diaries is a good example. Is a good show, and Solo Leveling is a good not summer, but it's good fun. Don't take that serious. And like some of good amount of animes is you don't have to take serious and don't take seriously because it's entertainment. you are not watching a documentary. You are watching entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. It's entertainment. Make it fun, man. I want this action. Let's go.
Yeah, like if the series is drama, I wanna see drama. If the series is romance, I wanna see romance. If the story,
exactly,
like I'm seeing the anime because of its acting. Like it's entertainment. Same as I go to movies to see movies because of the entertainment. Not if I want to be lectured. Okay, that's not the wrong word. That's a wrong word. But like if I want to educate myself or see,
you're gonna go watch something educational.
Yeah, and or if I want to listen Christianity music, I just listen. For example. Also, everybody who's into history, listen to Sabaton, please. That's a good band. And like, also, and maybe this is a wrong wrong sentence to say with a person who is into who is part of Christianity. But man, I love Powerwolf, even though they sing about like vampires, demons, and that stuff. But I love that stuff. I love their music. Not because they're like, it's just cool. They sound amazing in my opinion. And also they are now becoming more like an evil Sabaton.
I think that even if something's not Christian like me, I really enjoy anime, but a lot of them, they're not Christian. I mean, it might have some values that align with mine, but I would say if it's not something that really goes against my beliefs, like if it's a slice of life and it's like, I don't know, schoolgirls and schoolboys kind of just going to school and they're chilling, or they're going through like crushes and breakups, like that's just normal day-to-day stuff. I would say the things that are more like demonic and really bloody and gory might be things that I will personally stay away from.
Yep.
I know that there are people who enjoy it, and horror, I'm not a big fan of horror. So those would be some that I would stay away from, but otherwise, I mean, I just want to enjoy. I really love romance. So like for me, I will go and watch romance more times than not. I actually just watched Suzume the other day, and I'm like, look, I don't agree. Magic isn't like this good thing, but it's pretty wholesome. There's some romance, and it's a girl trying to work through her feelings and the memory of her. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but what happened in their past and all of that. So yeah, I mean, anime is not inherently like a Christian thing, but I think that you can still enjoy it, especially if it's not going over like really dark topics and promoting it, right? But I think there's something for everyone to kind of watch when it comes to anime. Like you shouldn't be super closed off, and that's what kind of bothers me about the older generation of Christians. It's like this is kind of some stuff that we, you know, grew up with as like Gen Z and millennials. So not all of it is bad, and I don't think all of it's like this demonic. We need satanic panic to take over. Of course, there's a lot of bad stuff, but like I know for me, I just avoid the things that are not for me. Like I won't condemn the whole medium because there might be a couple of animes that go very contrary to what I believe. So that's just me.
Yeah, there are some like even I will say that are like what the frick, what the hell is that? Like freaking. If you don't want to see freaking, what's a good example? A freaking horrifying show, don't watch Red of Healer. I got traumatized by watching. I got traumatized by watching that. Jesus Christ.
Boy, I don't think I want to know what's there. Ouch.
It's a revenge story with steroids.
Well, definitely not interested in that, but
I do love a great revenge story, but not that kind of thing because that's. or what are a good example? Like an actual good story is, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's a good series. Like, or Freeren. That those two are great
Oh, I
examples.
love Furion so much. And I mean, I know Furion herself isn't like Christian or anything, but there's some like, the priest or not the priest, the was he a priest? No, it
Yeah,
was like the religious
yeah.
yeah.
The Viking religion person is a priest.
And then the context of like, demons are evil. Like it's
Hmm.
pure evil. Don't be deceived. I think that's resonated with a lot of Christians because nowadays, like things like Hazbin Hotel or Hell of a Boss, right? It makes hell and demons seem like, this is really cool. Yeah, we're gonna party. But like Furion, it really like aligns with what we believe that demons are evil. And so don't be deceived by their false promises or them saying, like showing humanity because it's a trick.
Hmm.
So I think that's definitely one appealing thing for, on the more Christian side. And I just think that Furion is like really well animated. The story is very
Hmm.
touching. I have fallen in love with the characters. So, outside of like the religious component that there is there, it's one of the best anime of more recent seasons. So, I think it deserves all the praise and love that it gets, outside of even the Christian stuff. It's just very well done. And I am looking forward to
Hmm.
that next season. I am like sitting in my chair, just eagerly waiting for more action and for Furion to kind of realize and come to terms with a lot of her feelings and her past as well.
Yeah, and like freaking, I get that. Even though I'm just gonna say that Freeren is not as amazing that people say, in my opinion. It's just for me,
Really?
it didn't hit as well because I'm more of an action guy, so I prefer to see
Yeah, it's
more.
more slow paced
But
and
it's
there are
great.
moments of action, but it's not the
I'm
overall it's not very like fast paced.
I'm still say it's 10 out of 10, but it's for me it's not as great as I hoped, though. But it's still amazing. So, but like,
Yeah,
uh,
that's fair, man. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think even if it like the fact that you even acknowledge the fact or sorry, that you acknowledge that even though it's not like your cup of tea per se, that it's still well done and that's the thing, right? A lot of these things that are already not my cup of tea, they're also not like really well done. So,
yeah.
I'm just glad that even that you said that because I think that the writing is good, the characters and the pacing are pretty good in Furion overall. So, um, yeah, I mean, I wish there were more things like Furion, more shows like Furion, to be honest.
Also, one of the reasons why free run on my books gets a 1+ is Freeren's face and the memes. That,
Yeah, the memes are great, man. Shows need to be memeable. If not, they're not good. Not good either.
yeah, and like also like if for me if a series is a slice of life, for example, it's I'm probably not gonna watch it because I'm not the biggest fan of slice of life because I don't like but if it's a good one I'm gonna watch it nonetheless because well word of mouth. And I'm gonna die with this freaking hill, but I'm gonna say that Apothecary Diaries is
Oh,
hella good because I like history
yeah.
because that is based on like 50 or 400 China or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna see more of animes that is like
More
60,
historical stuff.
yeah, like 16s Japan, for example, or 1500s England, or 400s Germany, or something like that. I want to see more of that, and I'm excited for season 3 of Diaries, which hopefully is good
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too huge into like historical things, but I think what attracted me the most about that anime is the art style, especially like in the opening and endings. Like it's gorgeous, and I think Mao Mao's character, as well. Like those are two things, like the art style and then her character. Like she is brave. She will do anything, to survive, and she is intelligent. Like I think that's great when a character can stand up for themselves and they're not like this doormat that everyone's like stepping over. So I find that really admirable in her character, and yeah, I think it's one of the better anime of the season without a doubt. Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah, yeah, and it was good collab project with Toho and OLM, and they made
Yeah.
it work because it's rare. There are a few series that are like collab. Two studios makes the anime. Like I know a few, but I don't remember their names not from top of my head. But like, I want to see more historical stuff, please. I want to see that.
I honestly would be down for that if it. Not saying that they should, copy Apothecary Diaries, right? But if they somehow like can pull off really good art and a very strong like lead, I would be down to also watch more historical based anime. Something that doesn't make me fall asleep. It doesn't have to have like all this crazy action, but if they can tell a really good story and the characters are very solid, then I see no reason not to get more into that genre, honestly.
Yeah,
Because this story is interesting, and even when you add like that, fictional spin with these characters, I mean, um, I think for me, I kind of got burnt out because it was always like the same, like I don't know, two or three figures, like the emperor, this and that, and not maybe more. Not that they're less recognizable, but they're not as big figures, but they might still have had some sort of impact, or just even for the setting alone. Those would be things I'm more interested for sure.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. But that's basically what I want. That's everything that I wanted to talk with you, and every Celestium social is gonna be linked down below. Go and follow her and be sensible person. If you disagree with her, if you agree with her and that stuff, because well, if you know what certain VTuber has said about Celestium, you'll know, and you know. You'll know, and
Yeah,
yeah, that, and like I said, if you're into Christianity, religion, go and follow her. If you're into games, like I said, go and follow her. If you're gonna buy from Waifuverse and Bookers, use my code WalterCC, you'll get some discount, and I get percentage of that. So if you're gonna do that, use that code and follow and subscribe.
Buy his merch, buy the stuff.
Yeah, and when the game is done, buy that game. My game when it's done. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you. It was fun.
Happy to hear. I'm gonna be back next week with another guest, and I'll see you people there. Bye.